Every new Photoshop document starts off with a background layer, and that background layer by default is white, and it's also locked, which means when we try to do certain things, like for instance, with the move tool selected up here, if we try to move this layer, it's going to tell us, no, you can't do that. It's the background layer. You can't move it unless you unlock it or convert it to a normal layer. Well, I'm just going to cancel on that one. All we have to do to unlock the background layer is click this little lock icon, and that converts it to a normal layer. And this normal layer is probably now a fill of white. So if we move this white layer, notice how we get a little checkerboard. The checkerboard layer means transparency. That's something to remember. That means that currently what's on this layer only covers this space here. There's nothing over here. The way layers work is that they stack on top of each other. I'm going to undo this really quick with Command Z or Control Z. So they stack on top of each other, and anything that's on the top is the first visible thing. For instance, let's use some of the basic tools to create some automated layers, and then we'll also maybe paint on some layers, and I'll show you how things stack up over here in the layers panel. So I'm going to grab the rectangle tool, and I can click and hold on this. You'll see it down here at the bottom of your toolbar or tool panel. And if you click and hold, there's actually some different options like the ellipse, polygon, line tool. If I just grab the rectangle tool, we'll make a square out here on our canvas. And the first thing I can do is change what my fill and stroke color is and all these different options. The stroke color, I'm just going to click the slash here, which will simply have no stroke on there. And then the fill color, let's do something like a yellow. Now all I need to do is click and drag on my canvas to begin creating a rectangle. And if I hold shift, it'll actually lock it into a perfect square shape. Then when I let go, it's going to create that shape. Well, let's look over at our layers panel, because the most important thing here is it actually created a shape layer. That's right, a different type of layer. There are different types of layers. There's shape layers, text layers. You can have an image on a layer. You can have adjustment layers, which actually aren't visible, but instead they affect layers. You can also have paint layers or just blank layers with pixels on them. All sorts of different layers can be stacked on top here. Now, the important thing, as I've stressed before, is that any layer on top is the first layer visible. And we can do different things to it to show layers underneath. But for now, let's go ahead and create another layer. So I'm going to click on my move tool so that that sort of deselects the shape there. And we're going to add some text to our canvas. So I'm going to click on the type tool over here. And then all I have to do is click on our canvas to add some text in that spot. Right now, green is our color. Let's change that to something like red. I'm going to hit OK on that to select that color. And if I just type here something like text layer and then click on the move tool again, I always go back to the move tool. The shortcut key for that is V. But if you're within a text layer, you have to be careful because hitting V is actually going to type the letter V. So to get out of a text layer, hit the escape key, and then you can go to the move tool. But I always go to the move tool just out of habit. It helps me feel like I don't have anything selected that I don't mean to have selected. So I have the text layer now, and notice it created a little type layer down here. I also have the rectangle. The text layer is on top of the rectangle, which is on top of the background layer. So all of these, out of all of these, the first visible would be the text layer. So if I use my move tool and move this text layer over on top of the shape layer, notice how it's first visible. I see text, and then behind that is the rectangle, and behind that is the white background. Well, I can actually move these layers. So I can move the text layer underneath the rectangle, which, you guessed it, is going to make the rectangle first visible, and then the text underneath that, and then the background underneath that. To actually show layers underneath and through other layers, there are blending modes here. Notice where this normal is. I can drop that down and select different blending modes like multiply. They all sort of do different things. This is hard to see, but it does change the color a little bit where the yellow is over top of the text layer. Now, what we're seeing here is not the text layer on top of the yellow. We're seeing through the yellow, and we blended it with the multiply blend mode. Now, there's other blend modes. I'm not sure which ones will actually show much of a difference here. We can sort of click through some and find out. Well, there's one there with the light and blend mode. Now you cannot see the shape layer except for where the text layer is. So different options here to blend layers together. And another more basic option that we use all the time is opacity. That's like your visibility level. So right now it's 100% visible, the rectangle that I have selected. Let's say I change that to 50. It's going to be 50% see-through, essentially. 50% visibility, 50% transparency, opacity, whatever you want to call it. You can see through it now a little bit to the bottom layer. And we could set that down to 10%, so you can barely see it on there, or even 0%. Although there's not much reason to have it at 0%, because notice how on the left of all of these different layers, we have a little eyeball. That's to show and hide layers. So I could hide that layer from my canvas. At any point in time, I can hide and show layers. So if you're working on something or trying to work on something that's underneath another, like I wanted to edit this text, well, I can hide this top layer, edit the text, and then show it again and continue on with my project. Okay, so one other important thing, what if I wanted to paint on one of these layers? Well, what I would do is add a new layer. There's a little new layer tab down here. And when I do that, notice how there's this new layer that got added on top of everything else. And you can see the checkerboard pattern, which means that that layer is actually transparent. So there's nothing currently on it. But what if I select my paintbrush over here? And then I can select up in here, remember all these other extra properties are up here. I can select the size of the brush, the type of brush, the hardness and softness of it, and then some other options. But with that paintbrush selected, and also a color selected, so either down here, the foreground color we can set, or up here we can set the foreground color. I'll keep it at this sort of really highlighted blue color. Notice I'm on this layer, so that's the layer I'm going to be painting on. As I sort of draw and paint on top of everything, check out this thumbnail over here. If I hide everything below it, and I just clicked and dragged to hide all those, we've actually simply just painted a stroke on here. So anywhere that that stroke is where pixels basically exist and are on top of any of our other layers. Now I can obviously drag this layer like before underneath the rectangle. Now the rectangle is going to be on top. So it's like the rectangle first, then the paintbrush layer, then the text layer. I could drag it one more below that. So now we're below the text layer. So it's the rectangle, the text layer, and then the paintbrush layer, and so on. And that's how these layers sort of behave. Everything stacks on top of the other layer. Let's switch gears a little bit and look at the selection tool. Now I currently have the paintbrush layer selected, and this is actually the marquee selection tool. If I click and hold this, I have rectangular, elliptical, single row. I also have some different options here underneath. I have a lasso tool, which is another selection tool, and I have like magic wand and quick selection. We won't get into any of these too deep, but I just wanted to show you how selections work. So I have this layer selected with the paintbrush, and I have the rectangular marquee selection. If I click and drag out here, it's going to draw a selected area. And then I can, with that same selection tool still selected, I can click and drag that around if I wanted to move where it's at. With this area selected, I can essentially affect the area of that selection. I could grab the move tool. When I hover over this selection, notice the little scissors appear. That means I can sort of cut and drag the pixels that are in this area around, and only the ones that are on this layer. So if I click and drag it, notice how it actually selects what it sees there, and I can move that around. I can also do stuff like copy, paste. So I could go up to edit, copy, and then edit, paste. And that's going to paste in there a new layer based on that selection. And now I can move that new layer around separately from anything else. We'll go ahead and undo that. It also keeps things within the bounds of that selection. So I'm still on this layer. I could switch over to the paint tool and notice how the selection remains. And as I paint, it only allows me to paint within that selection. So that's kind of a nice way to keep yourself from painting outside of the boundaries of where you would like to paint. And I'll just undo out of that. And that's kind of a quick overview of how some of the selection tools work a little bit and what you can sort of do with them. Now, I know we didn't get too deep into any one tool or anything, but the main thing I wanted you to understand here was how layers work and just the basic understanding of how things stack on top of each other, and the fact that if you move something below, you will see the rectangle first and then the layer underneath is in order of top to bottom, front to back. That's the biggest thing I wanted you to take away from this. If you like this video, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more tips and tutorials, and I'll see you next time.